So if I'm building a home, right? If I put myself in the shoes of our clients, what can I tell you to make sure I'm not gonna have a site preparation surprise before you start in the home? What do I need to be asking that builder to make sure that I'm not gonna have a surprise wetland mitigation or a surprise maybe a stem wall, which just happened to us on 3 homes, mm-hmm. right? How as a GC you can make sure what studies you need to have in order to be 1,000% sure?
There's really 2 main ones on the front end that you want to make sure you have, and that's the topography survey, which is different than just the boundary survey. The topography survey will actually show you how the lot and the contours move along the actual lot. So are you going to need stem walls? Are you going to need a bunch of fill? How does that lot look as far as the topography goes? And then hand in hand with that would be your soils report. Again, just to confirm what type of soil you have. Is it a soil that can support that structure? If you have those 2 things, you can clear up a lot of the gray areas of what are we going to need, how are we going to be able to get this started.
Gotcha. Yeah, because sometimes clients say like, hey, I want to save every penny. Do we really need that? I think this is definitely a place that you don't want to go cheap, right?
Right. That pre-construction phase, you want to spend some money on the front end because it's going to save you way more money on the tail end. Mm-hmm. If you get too far down this process and you haven't spent that money to do the homework, you're going to have more costly repairs than you would to just get those reports on the front end.
Absolutely. And one of the important things, if you're building with a loan and we already, or the builder already gave you a price and they didn't include that, now you have to come out of pocket. So that could be a huge hidden cost. What would you say, let's say on a 2,000, 3,000 square foot home, 3,000 square foot home, and there's a surprise stem wall? What would that run?
I mean, on the low end, if it was very minimal, you're at 10K, but it's going to be 15K plus depending on the size, the logistics. A lot of things can go into it, and having to panic solve. Once you've already kind of started that and you're out of design, that's where things get even more costly because construction is sequencing. Once you start getting out of that sequencing, you're going to see those ramifications throughout the job.
And it's not only the money, which is a lot of money that will have to come out of pocket, but also the time, right?
Exactly.
Because when you have a surprise stem wall, don't you have to go back to permitting?
Yep. You got to get it all reapproved, re-looked at, get those drawings printed, get them on site, and kind of start back from zero from that structural standpoint.
Mm-hmm. So make sure that your builder does their homework when it comes to site preparation.